Okay, so the first question in here asks for the title of this graph. So for that, you just got to look up here at the top of the graph, and that is the title. Next, it asks, what two quantities did the scientist measure over time? So here, our x-axis is time. We want to know what two quantities were measured, so we need to look at our y-axis. We look on one side, and one thing that was measured was the chipmunk population density. We can look on our other y-axis to see what else was measured by the scientists, and that is acorns produced. Now, number 3 asks, how many acorns were produced per acre in year 2010? So for that, we're going to look for 2010 here. Here it is. I'm going to change to a thicker writing thing. And in the year 2010, acorns, we can see, are the circles. So we got to go from the year 2010 up. Okay, so we're right here. And since it's asking us about acorns, that means we need to use this side, since this one is acorns produced. So if we go over from there, looks like about 1,400, maybe 1,450 acorns were produced in 2010. I'll clear that out of there so we can look for number 4. Number 4 asks, how many chipmunks per acre were there in the year 2010? So chipmunks are the triangle. So we find 2010. We go up to the triangle here. And now we need to use this side because that is chipmunk population density. So I come over on this line. And there's no number here. But if we look at our other numbers, we can say, okay, this goes 0 to 5. So what must each notch here be? Each one must be 1, because we would go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that means in 2010, there were 3 chipmunks per acre. All right, and then number 5, in which year were the most acorns produced? So we remember that acorns are the circle. We look on our acorns and we want to find when the most acorns were produced right here. So then we look for the year, and it was 1 year before 2020, so 2019. Six, in which year were the most chipmunks living in that area per acre? So we go to the chipmunks, which is the triangle. We want to find when there was the most chipmunks living there, and we see it here in the year 2020. And those two questions should get us thinking about what's the connection between these, right? So it's looking like we had this year in 2019 with a lot of acorns, and then the next year we had an increase, a big increase in our chipmunk population size. So that information is going to help us then with the last question, number 7. So let me clear this off of here. Now, number 7 says, write a short caption with a claim that explains a trend in your graph or summarizes the findings in this experiment. Make sure you point out specific pieces of evidence and explain why they support your claim. So we want to find a trend in this graph. So one of the trends I was just pointing out is that it seems like as acorns increase when acorns increase, like here, chipmunks are also increasing the next year. Or like here, acorns started to increase here, chipmunks started to increase. Acorns increased here, chipmunks increased by a lot. So that's one trend that we could use as our claim. As the number of acorns increases, that's followed by an increase in chipmunks. And it says to point out specific pieces of evidence. To do that, you would want to use some of these numbers about how much acorns increased and then how much chipmunks increased for that question.